right hand, please swear. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Good morning. Would you state your name, the year of your birth, and the city of residency, please?
Gilbert Gallegos, 1969, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
And Mr. Gallegos, do you have a personal attorney?
I do not.
Ms. Rabita is here as your counsel as a employee of the city of Albuquerque. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You haven't written any affidavits or signed any affidavits?
Yeah, I've done, in the past year, one involving the city, at least one, and a lawsuit against the city.
What was that affidavit? What case was that for?
It's Cricled Wagons versus the city of Albuquerque.
Cricled Wagons is the plaintiff?
Mm-hmm.
What are the claims in that case as you understand them?
Primary claims are IPRA and First Amendment issues.
Are you named as a defendant in that matter?
I don't know if I am directly, I may be, I don't know.
But you're a witness?
Yes.
Okay. City Council, Albuquerque City Council President Pat Davis recently admonished the Keller administration for your conduct on Twitter, correct?
Yeah, I guess he did.
Would you agree with that?
I didn't see it, so I don't know who he was admonishing, but my understanding is he brought up comments about the Twitter account.
I'm going to hand you what we'll mark as Exhibit 1. This is a article that was posted on KOAT Channel 7 entitled Albuquerque City Councilor Tells Police to Stop Mean Tweets or Else. And in the second paragraph, City Council President Davis stated during a City Council meeting back in April, quote, "I will work personally to defund the position, to defund that account, and to prohibit the city from using Twitter. And that way, if we continue to not solve this problem, we're not there to pick a fight with people online on social media." Did I read that correctly?
You read it correctly, yes.
Okay. Is that the first time you've heard that statement by Mr. Davis?
Action Form and Foundation.
You can answer.
I've heard it. I've heard that he made a statement about it. Appears to me he overstepped his bounds on that as well.
You think Mr. Davis overstepped his bounds?
Absolutely.
How so?
By commenting on an individual personnel matter or an individual employed by the city as city council president.
Did you file a complaint on Mr. Davis?
No, I didn't.
Did you
Considered it, though.
Did you express any concern to anybody at the city about Mr. Davis's conduct?
I did.
You, who?
The chief of police
Harold Medina?
and the mayor, yes.
Anyone else?
No.
And you have an understanding as to what Mr. Davis was complaining about in his statement about your conduct on Twitter, correct?
Object to the form. Got it.
Not entirely. I know some of it. I'm kind of curious if he was talking about his own comments he's made in the past to the chief or to the mayor about a reporter that works for his own publication who I interacted with on Twitter. I raised concerns about that as well, about the city council president complaining to the mayor and to the chief of police about one of his own employees who he did not like that I engaged with on Twitter. So I don't know if it was just that or if he was talking about engaging with any other members of the public.
You believe you've engaged with an employee with Mr. Davis on Twitter?
No, I have.
Who is that?
Tabitha Clay.
And she's a reporter with?
With the paper, which is owned by Mr. Davis.
Okay. Not anybody affiliated with his position as city council?
No.
At the top of page 2, Mr. Davis states, "And we've had this conversation. People are allowed to disagree with us," Davis said. "We do not make fun of our former police chief's health condition on Twitter. That is too far, and someone needed to be disciplined for it. As near as I can tell, it hasn't happened. That's enough. We're done with this." Do you see that?
I do.
Does that refresh your recollection as to what particular tweet Mr. Davis is upset about?
I know that it sounds like quote, like from that quote, he's mischaracterizing anything that I tweeted about, that's for certain.
Since you've been a City of Albuquerque employee, have you been the target of any allegations of misconduct?
Through CPOA, I have been a target, yes.
What were the allegations levied against you?
Oh, I don't remember. It had to do with my use of my personal Twitter account.
Do you recall who made the allegations against you?
A couple of different, I know that Nick Lehman with ABQ RAW, I think, made allegations. Charles Arison, I don't know how you refer to him, Citizen made accusations similar.
Any other allegations of misconduct against you?
No,
Have you ever been accused of tampering with public records?
no.
Regarding those CPOA investigations, were you ever interviewed in
Yes.
investigations by them?
I was, yes.
I knew what's marked as Exhibit 3. This is apparently an email complaint by Charles Arison to the CPOA dated April 19th, 2022. In the middle of it, Mr. Arison states, Gallegos admitted to posting a tweet on the official Albuquerque Police Department's Twitter account claiming it had been authored by Chief Geyer and later removing it, apparently under the direction of his politically elected appointed superiors in violation of a state statute. Do you see that?
Yes.
Have you ever seen this complaint before?
I may have, I don't remember.
Do you know if you were ever interviewed regarding this complaint?
I was interviewed about multiple complaints by Charles Arison. I don't remember if I was asked about this or not.
Do you recall any findings from those investigations?
The only finding I recall is about not having a disclaimer on my personal Twitter account that I worked for the city. That was the only, I think, sustained finding.
But you don't recall any finding regarding this April 2022 complaint?
There may have been. There was nothing sustained or nothing to that effect.
In terms of the sustained finding about not having this disclaimer on your private Twitter account, and again, I guess Exhibit 2 is a image from a tweet from your private Twitter account, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This complaint on Exhibit 3 has nothing to do with that. It just talks about deleting a tweet, is that right?
I guess so.
Okay. Do you recall being accused of blocking a citizen on your private Twitter account which had been used for public business?
Arison may have complained about that too. I don't remember.
Were you investigated for that conduct?
I don't remember if that was part of my interview with them or not. It
You
wasn't
recall-
something that was sustained.
I'm sorry.
It was not something that was sustained.
So, in terms of those allegations, it's your testimony that there was no finding of misconduct?
No, I could block somebody on my personal Twitter account.
And it's marked as Exhibit 4. This is a December 10th, 2021 letter to Charles Arison regarding CPC 134-21. Under the heading complaint, it states, you, Mr. Arison, filed a complaint against Mr. G. Mr. G blocked your access to his Twitter social media account that he uses for official department business. On June 8th, 2021, Mr. G posted a tweet saying, quote, "I hear some trolls are butthurt because I blocked them. They're trolls, nothing to see here." Do you see that?
Yes.
Is this the investigation of you regarding blocking somebody on your private Twitter account?
Yeah,
Okay. So Mr. G is you, correct?
correct.
If you go to the second page, there are findings. Under section 1, it says for the policy 1-2-5N, it was an unfounded allegation. For the policies 1-1-4A, 1-2-4A1, and 1-1-5A1, there were sustained findings. Do you see that?
Yes.
Do you recall receiving any correspondence from the CPOA reflecting those sustained findings against you?
I don't recall. All I recall is receiving something from Internal Affairs for the one I told you that I got a written reprimand for that. Anything else, I don't recall.
Down at the bottom, it says additional comments. The SOPs that I just cited are sustained due to Twitter evidence and photos showing Mr. G blended his personal account with APD-related materials. Because of the blending, this has caused public confusion. Mr. G became a government actor. He then blocked Harrison from the account, which he's unable to do so. Tweets obtained also show Mr. G was using terms such as trolls, butthurt in the account, which is a violation of general conduct. You see that?
I do.
We had previously talked about your conduct outside of work having an effect upon your position at work. Remember that?
Yes.
And here we have CPOA sustained findings that, in fact, when they investigated it, that your private conduct was having an effect on your position as a government actor. You see that?
Yep.
Were you disciplined for this?
No, I was not.
And at the time that this determination was made, Harold Medina was the interim chief of police. Is that right?
I suppose so.
Well, it wasn't Mike Geyer, correct?
Yeah, I don't know if there was a superintendent of police reform in that position yet or not.
If there was, who would it have been?
Eric Garcia.
Not Sylvester Stanley?
It may have been Sylvester Stanley, too.
In 2021, did the CPOA have authority over city employees to actually recommend and implement discipline?
Draft to form and foundation, you can answer.
Yes.
They did? Was that recommendation subject to review by anybody?
I don't recall. I'm not sure.
Do you recall if Harold Medina or Mr. Stanley or Mr. Garcia spoke to you about these findings by the CPOA?
I don't recall.
Okay.
I will say about them, though, that the tweet had nothing to do with Charles Harrison, which was now comes back to me.
Do you have an understanding as to what these SOPs are?
Yes.
What are they?
What do you mean? They're standard operating procedures.
Yeah, but what do these SOPs specifically reference?
Well, I mean, they don't reference, and I remember this conversation with the CPOA, this blending of accounts as a made-up term and has nothing to do with First Amendment or any kind of court cases dealing with social media. And I made that clear with them. So if their opinion is that somehow it was blending, which is a word I think that Charles Harrison used, I 100% disagreed with that.
Did you have counsel when you were interviewed by CPOA personnel?
No, I didn't.
Who interviewed you?
An investigator, I don't remember who.
Was it male or female?
I don't remember.
Did you ever obtain a copy of your statement?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever submit an objection to the CPOA's findings?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
I hand you Exhibit 5. These are the referenced SOPs in the CPOA letter. 1-1-4A1 has to do with department personnel complying with civil and criminal laws. You see where it says 1 in brackets there?
Yeah.
Do you have an understanding what that means?
The discipline related to that?
It's part of something called the Chart of Sanctions. Have you heard of
Yes.
that before?
Yes.
Do you know when a 1 presents as a possible level of discipline?
Yes.
What?
Termination.
Below it, 1-2-4A1 talks about department personnel and social media use. You see that?
I do.
And then 1-1-5A1 talks about department personnel treating the public with respect, courtesy, and professionalism at all times. And those two SOPs are bracketed with the number 6. Do you have an understanding what the level of discipline would be for that sanction?
I think maybe a written reprimand, but I'm not certain.
So in this matter, there was a sustained finding of 2 level 6 and a level 1 on the Chart of Sanctions, right?
I don't, where does it say that I violated a level 1?
Right under sustained, 1-1-4A.
That's 4A?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so.
That's their SOP, Mr. Gallegos.
Well, I know what the SOP is. No one ever suggested I violated that.
And it's your testimony you didn't receive any discipline for this, the CPOA's findings?
It may have been this one, like I said, about the disclaimer. I don't remember if it was related to this investigation or which.
But there's no corrective action. You weren't demoted.
I think there was a written reprimand.
Written reprimand.
Yeah.